Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well, so I am doing great. And so as promised, as I told you in the last video, we meet today for a video on the manual pollination of zucchini. It's early in the morning and I can see the sunrise behind me. Simply for the simple and good reason that if you want to manually pollinate your zucchini, or even try hybridizations, that will be the subject of a next video. It is at dawn, or at least early in the morning, that you should come to the vegetable garden for the good reason that that is when the zucchini flowers bloom. It is in the morning that you will have the most blooming flowers at the end of the day. If you go through your zucchini, your squash, etc., all the flowers will be closed. You'll find very few of them. It's very rare to find flowers that are in bloom in the late afternoon, so we'll do it in the morning. So why this video? Because I did it, I had already done it last year for squash. But I often have questions that come up. That's why my zucchini flowers. So I am often told I have zucchini. I have lots of female flowers with zucchini at the base. And they grow, but the growth stops. They finally rot the tip in general. It turns yellow, they turn black, then they fall. In the vast majority of cases, it is simply because the female flowers have been poorly pollinated, therefore poorly fertilized. And in fact, the fertilization of the baby zucchini, in quotation marks, aborted. So unfortunately, the zucchini won't develop due to certain conditions. To address this, there are multiple effective strategies. Firstly, you should completely avoid certain practices. Plant even if zucchini are very productive. If you plant 1 or 2 zucchini plants, you will not have a super production, since there will not necessarily be male flowers and female flowers open at the same time all the time. To mitigate this, it is advisable to plant no fewer than 3 to 4 zucchini plants in close proximity to each other. This way, insects will be able to forage from one plane to another and therefore pollinate your flowers. Another effective method involves incorporating honey plants to attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies for better fertilization. That was for the little intro. So if you don't have pollinating insects, or you don't have enough of them and you run into this problem a little too much on your zucchini, the primary recommendation for this issue is to think about integrating honey-bearing aromatic plants. Examples include lavender, borage, sage, or similar options that serve this function. A wide variety of melliferous flowers exist to support pollination and better plant production. So apart from that, here we are in the season, you may not have time to add aromatics or other. And then you want your first zucchini to reach maturity, well, we will manually pollinate the zucchini. So the first thing to be able to manually pollinate plants, zucchini flowers, is going to be to know how to spot the male flower of the female flower. There are 2 straightforward ways to distinguish them clearly. So the first is that if we look at the base of the flower, so this is a male flower, I'll explain why. If we look at the base here, there is no baby zucchini, which a bulge, a blister is there, it's the future zucchini. There is none, so is the male flower. If we take a female flower here, I'm going to try to access it. It's going to be complicated. I'm going to try to show you. This one is a female flower, and there we see that already at the base. And well, there what we see is a zucchini, is the baby zucchini. So this baby zucchini, it already has the color and more or less the shape of your future zucchini. If you do this on a nice round zucchini, the zucchini at the base will already be round. Then the second thing to simply recognize the male flowers from the female flowers is that here, if you look inside, there's a simple pistil. You see full. Hop, this is too zoomed in. Voila, we can see all the pollen that's on it. It's filled with pollen, the pistil there. In comparison, the female flower displays an organ designed to accept pollen, indicating its role in pollination. So I'm going to push it aside a little. So there are already ants there, if necessary, who are wandering around, I see. There are some in the male flower and there are some in the female flower, if necessary. The ants have already pollinated this zucchini. But it doesn't matter, we'll do it anyway. So to know that if you don't have it there, for example, it's alberello zucchini called sarzana. Well, I'm lucky for the video that the two flowers are side by side, so it's very good. It could be that there is only one female flower open on this zucchini plane and you have a male flower on another plane. You can very well take the male flower from another plane to pollinate this flower. So on the other hand, if you take it, it will work even if the varieties are different. On the other hand, you should know that yes. How to say if you use the male flower of another variety, you for this season you will have the normal fruit. That is to say that they're admit. So I said it's from the alberello di Sarzana. If I take a male flower of Nice round courgette this year, I will have alberello di Sarzana. There will be no hybridization. Next year, if I recover, the seeds on this fruit here, there, that I will harvest from alberello di Sarzana, I will surely have a hybrid variety that will have taken genes from the two parents, in fact. And so after that, on the next fruit you have, you will not be able to get your seeds back. So to do that, we're going to pick the male flower. Here we are moving forward. So you see at the base, there are no zucchini. So here we have the male flower with the simple pistil in the middle and the petals. So what we're going to do is delicately remove all the petals from the flower. There you go. And then without paying much attention to the pollen that there is, we will strip the whole circle of the flower without stirring too much to lose a minimum of pollen, since that is what will be useful to us. Now you can see the organ, the male flower with all its pollen intact. Let's proceed by using it for rubbing on the female flower. With the male organ in hand, simply transfer the pollen onto the female organ thoroughly. So you don't hesitate to put it on. I usually have a male flower. There I wouldn't know how much I don't want to go forward. I don't know how much pollen you have to put in so that the zucchini is really well pollinated. So I take a male flower, match it with a female one, rub thoroughly, and now it's obvious the pollen has been entirely transferred from the male flower. In conclusion, the pollen transfer is complete. The dispatcher, observed on the female flower in particular. So this is a zucchini which will certainly get bigger. You won't have any worries about this type of zucchini. Afterward, it does require a little more time, but ultimately I find the process quite fascinating and enjoyable. In summary, I hope this guide helps clarify why your baby zucchinis might yellow, blacken and then drop off prematurely. It often comes from that. So there may be other reasons. It may be that your soil is not fertile enough, but in 90% of cases, try to do this and you will see that the zucchini on which you did this, it will grow, it will mature. I hope you've found this video helpful. In the near future, we'll produce content on creating a variety labeled F1. This process is primarily for personal enjoyment and experimentation. Once we test it now, next year I'll store the fruits and collect their seeds. The following season will reveal the surprises of our newly created variety. So that's it, come on, that's it for this video. I'm going to take a little tour, I'm going to pollinate. I spotted a lot of male flowers there, so I have a little time, so I'm going to also pollinate by hand my female flowers. That can't hurt. And then we also find ourselves very quickly for the size of tomatoes, the size of cucumbers, the size of melons. We're going to do all this in the vegetable garden together. There you go. So I must tell you quite soon about what's coming next in the upcoming video. See you later.
Generate by AI.